All right, I am back here to talk about all things Deadpool and Wolverine, giving you my spoiler-free review on the movie that I have been waiting so long for. Let's get going on it right now. All right, Deadpool is back in action on the MCU this time around with Wolverine, Hugh Jackman returning. I have been waiting for this movie to come out since Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds made the incredible announcement on Instagram all those years ago, and now we finally have the film out and is in theaters right now. And it's getting some positive and negative reviews, and I kind of have a feeling you either love it or you hate it. So let's dive into my thoughts. Well, I will say right off the bat, I did have a great, enjoyable time watching this movie. I think it's a very good movie that you have a fun time with. Is it as great as I wanted it to be? No, but it does, for me, live up to the hype. Right away, what you're going into this film for is the dynamic between Deadpool and Wolverine, and that is the best thing in this movie. There are people that have been waiting forever to see these two characters on screen done right, and I believe you get that in this movie. You know Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds are great friends. That shows in the movie as well. But the dynamic they have on screen, their relationship and how it grows, Wolverine wants nothing to do with Deadpool. He is tired of him, annoyed with him, fed up with him. But you just see that slow love kind of start to build, and you see that at the end of the film, and it's a great adventure that we get to see them go on together. And the jokes between the two work very, very well. And I think both of the performances here by Ryan Reynolds, he's doing the same thing as Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2, but it works here in the film, obviously. And Hugh Jackman giving a great emotional performance. I believe he is the one that brings the heart into this movie and really is that strong emotional point of the film, is his character and the arc that he ultimately goes on in this movie. And I'm glad we had that because I thought I was going to lack it. But yeah, the dynamic between the two are great, and the jokes, like I said, between them and just throughout the entire movie are phenomenal. I got about, 96% of the jokes I say work for me in here. And I do think in order to get most of the jokes, you have to have a general good understanding of the MCU. And if you don't, like my wife, you might be lost, and maybe a lot of them, really, like I think she said 50-50. Kind of went over her head, and she wasn't able to enjoy this film as she was with the past two Deadpool movies. And I think that's kind of maybe more of what the average moviegoer may have. But for me, knowing all the things I do about the MCU, they worked for me great. They really went hard at Disney and Marvel, which I was very surprised about, just how much free range they really had. That was one of the controversies that people thought of Disney finally taking over. Would it impact how hard our Deadpool goes? The answer is no, and thank goodness for that. Just so many good things done here in this film, joke-wise, that worked very well for me, and a lot of them had me laughing out loud. The same with my theater, and you catch them on, I'm sure, a second viewing as well. I'll catch more when I finally see this again. But that brings me to the story of the film, and that is where I think the weakness of the film is. It's a pretty messy story all around. I feel like they were like, all right, we got Wolverine back, Hugh Jackman's coming, so we know that we're setting it up with those two. Let's throw things at a wall and see what sticks. And that's like throw random story points here. Cassandra Nova here, she's going to do this, but we got the TVA over here and Paradox, played by the Succession guy, and that's going to correlate with this. It was just messy and confusing, and even all the things I know about the TVA from Loki and everything like that, I thought it was a mess, and the villains just weren't strong at all. I thought, and the ending for their characters it was done pretty easily. I was very underwhelmed by the way that these characters were portrayed on screen, and by the way their storylines played out. I just didn't really think it was a big threat. They were trying to make it a big threat. I think they just overdid it, and the execution on that part did ultimately fail. And like I said, it's kind of like a good cop, bad cop, buddy cop kind of movie between the two in a way. And I get it, but their relationship can only carry the film so much, and I don't think it can create a story, which is where I think they were trying to go here. The cameos in this movie, actually, for me, were all good. They were great. Yes, it was fan service in here, and some of the cameos blew my mind, but I think all of them had a narrative purpose for the story. And I've seen some complaints out there from people and saying that the cameos were a negative thing. I have to disagree with that. I think they were all great, and they were for a narrative purpose. They just weren't thrown at your face for no reason. With that all being said, like I said, I had a great time with the film. It was fun. Sure, the story isn't great, and I don't think the villains were great in this film either. But for me, the relationship that we see with Deadpool and Wolverine unfold, how much Wade Wilson brings that comedy aspect into the movie, the opening scene in here being one of the best I've ever seen. I just think it all carries it to a positive result at the end. So I'm going to give Deadpool and Wolverine a 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10 for me. I lived up to the hype, and I had a good time watching this movie, and it was just great to see Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds on screen finally doing it the way they want to do it. With that being said, guys, let me know your thoughts on the movie down below, and what impact of the MCU do you think this has? That is one of the things. I thought there was going to be a little bit more impact of the overall MCU because of this film. It didn't really have it, and that's okay, but it was still a little disappointing. So let me know your thoughts on that, and until the next one, guys, that's going to do it for me. So make sure to stay tuned to the channel, subscribe. I'm going to be doing a ranking of all the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies with Deadpool, Wolverine. So make sure you subscribe to see where I put that in the ranking. All right. Hope you guys have a good day, and thank you guys for watching. Until the next one, I'll see you then.